I'll try to. It's a fucking
Thanos.
slideshow bullshit.
Oh,
list. I hate.
we call that a
yeah.
listicle.
Yeah, nustical.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a new term. I
winner
invented.
list is gonna fade from popularity. I'm over them.
The
I want the
like
top one.
Like the idea of
when
lists.
history
Oh,
ends.
you just want the one.
I just want the most best.
when
I'm not
culture
looking
collapses.
for
I was good with
last
Schindler's.
place.
That's
Sirius XM
Well,
is doing a
that's not
top
funny.
1,000 rock hits of all
No,
time.
the movie.
Yeah,
They should have just played number one.
yeah. Michael Jackson's Thriller. Just play it and get it done
Who
with.
cares about 274? Not me.
I agree. Just
Play
play the
number
best
one.
one. Put number one on repeat.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear the
A
shit.
1,000 times.
Yeah, I always love when someone like Rolling Stone does like the top 500 songs of all time or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to know what number 416 is. It was Genie in a Bottle. I agree. Like,
Skip ahead.
give me your top 20, bro.
Give me number one. Get 20 out of here.
Whenever there's a list like that of like the top games of all time, I always feel like there's no point in doing like
can't
there's
win.
no winning that because
been the same forever,
what
too.
criteria? Because it's like you'd be just as justified picking like Pong as you would be like Mario because they're both this influential thing. So it's like, but are you basing it off influential or do you put Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's got like the most shit in
But
it? Do you know what I mean?
In addition to that, every list like that, number one is always a fucking out of left field. The author just wanted to
Yeah.
be cute. Like,
Yeah.
I actually thought more about games than any of you,
Yeah.
and that's why I picked.
Yeah, it's
you
like
know,
it's like Overwatch bullshit.
Overwatch bullshit.
Yeah.
And they oftentimes I see this number one. They go, well, any of the last five I picked could have been number one. Okay, well then maybe you shouldn't be
Cop
making a
out.
list.
I'm curious out there. I am curious, and to you guys too.
All right.
When I say the greatest game of all time,
Yeah.
what is actually the game that pops into your mind? Like that's the one with
I
the
got an
statue.
answer.
What is the thing
And it's
that
what
pops
I
into your
always.
mind?
It's,
What the
whoa,
fuck?
God!
You're
Sorry,
an asshole.
Zelda.
What the fuck
Sneaky
did you just
asshole.
say?
You dick! You gave me a heart attack.
Fucking
Fucked up.
dickhead.
Oh my!
You haven't been on set the whole time.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was this?
Why are
then?
you out of breath?
This is how he shows up. He's always out of breath.
Zelda's number one.
That's
huh?
for me. you
Well,
know.
Well, what? You can't just say Zelda. I mean,
Breath
there's
of the Wild,
more.
I told
There's
you,
more
it's-
than one,
Hey,
dude.
brand new favorite.
I'm sorry. You said Zelda and the one we were
Best Star
supposed
Wars,
to
The
think
Last
you
Jedi,
chose.
the newest one.
the newest one.
Yes, I will argue to the death about it.
Zelda Breath of the Wild is the newest one that I would even consider putting in like my top 10 or whatever. And I think I would put it in my top 10, but it wouldn't be my number one.
I think
But the thing that comes to mind, I wouldn't even pick it as my personal number one, but I think Super Mario Brothers. When somebody says the greatest game of all time, I just think Super Mario Brothers because that was such a like blueprint. You know what I mean?
The
But-
first one?
Yeah, the original Super Mario Brothers.
Whenever-
That's what I think of, but I don't think that's my favorite of all time. That's just what comes to mind.
Whenever I would read those lists, like in my magazine, because back in the gaming mag days, I always thought Final Fantasy VII finished number one, if not like it was always in the top five.
Yeah,
And-
it was there a lot.
And I don't know. I think that one I probably when you said best video game
That
of all
popped
time,
into your head.
Final Fantasy VII popped into my head, and it's not my favorite, but that pops.
That's
into my head.
same with me and Mario.
Yeah.
That one's not my favorite, but
That's hard to
what came
argue
mind.
though too. Super Mario Brothers for NES. That's huge.
There were a lot of lists that would very commonly put Tetris there too. And
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, but have you played Apex Legends?
Yeah, I guess. All right, I
morning.
feel like the criteria, if you're going to give it to Mario, greatest game of all time, then your criteria has to be biggest cultural impact.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Is like, yeah, is that what it is? I don't know. I
think
guess
so. But what? Yeah, but do I say like personal favorite because Mario's not like
No,
my
it's-
go-to game.
No,
it's
well,
gotta
I
be-
love it.
game.
Don't get me
It's got to
wrong.
be
but
overall.
yeah, it's
No,
not
it's-
What's the one that you would argue? What's the one that you would pick?
I don't like to
based
argue.
on like your own criteria. It could be your favorite.
Fortnite.
I mean,
This is the newest one.
Most
Now,
biggest selling.
I think, okay, well, this is what I think. It's a hard question to answer because as time goes on, tastes change. Like
Sure.
innovations change. And
Yeah, games are kind of different than movies in that way.
Yeah. Well, no, I think even the same thing with movies.
Sure.
I think that you have to judge stuff in eras.
Okay.
And first you have to define what the eras are, and I don't even know where to begin with that. Perhaps you could say consoles are an era. You could go by decades. Mario is definitely, if you're talking the era of like 1980 to, I would say even 2000, 20 years. Yeah, probably Mario. But some could even argue Mario 64 because it ushered in the 3D era of games.
That's a good point.
I always get shit. This is the last thing I will say. It's not my favorite game ever, but I feel like I really think, and I've said this in the past and I got shit for it, Minecraft is the Mario of our era. As
I could see
far
that in a lot of
as
ways.
cultural impact,
Yeah.
longevity, ancillary toys, and just really like
Proliferation. It was on every
Just what it
system.
spawned. What was born out of it.
Minecraft
was,
is still extremely popular here, like 12 years after it was like first released. It's still going strong. I mean, it's going on 15 years of not market domination, but it's up there. It's a top selling game
Has
still.
it been around that long though? I don't know.
Didn't it come out 2007?
I don't know.
What was? Let me chat. What was the first year Minecraft came out?
Chad is on it.
Some people are saying World of Warcraft, but I even feel like World of Warcraft kind of died out.
2011.
2009.
Yeah,
so
there was
10 years.
There was some kind of early in some form in 2009. Yeah, so
10,
a decade. Yeah.
10 years of Minecraft being popular as fuck.
But what would be your But straight up, what would be your pick for like your favorite game of all
Yeah, because
time?
that's the thing is like when people say like, "What's your favorite movie?" to me, I say Back to the Future. I don't
Sure.
think that's the best movie ever made.
Yeah, you're not speaking for the
I
world
admit
there.
it's not, but for me, I like every beat of it. I love it. You know,
Sure.
so like that's my
Front to
thing.
back.
Right.
My favorite game of all time, it would
What
be
pops into your head?
It would be a toss-up between Super Smash Brothers Melee and Fallout 3.
Really?
Only because of my personal experiences
Right.
playing that game.
Yeah, but that's all. Yeah,
But that
that's
works.
Right.
That's
Num-
fine.
Like number of time dedicated to playing that game and like totally capturing my imagination.
Sure.
All I could think about all day was getting home and playing those games.
Yeah.
And it was like a significant amount of time in my life was dedicated to feeling that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I had Smash Brothers, Melee, and Fallout New Vegas.
Oh.
Are probably my two.
Really?
hey, whatever the first Fallout you play is
Fallout
your
New
favorite.
Vegas was the first one I played.
There you go.
Whatever the first
It
one
was
you play is
awesome.
going to be your favorite because you can't. Every Fallout is the same experience with a different story.
All right, I'm playing 76, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I got to go 76. Newest one.
Man.
I would have to say Final Fantasy IV is probably still my favorite because that was one that like my whole fucking family played when it came out, and that was like I was at school thinking about what's going to happen next in the story. Oh shit! Oh my gosh! Is that guy really Cecil's brother? Oh my god! When I go home, I can't wait to find out about. You know what I mean? It was like a
Yeah.
very like pivotal moment.
You ever
for me,
have that
so-
feeling when you love a game and you sit down to play it and you turn it on and it's loading and you start to get that like anticipation inside
Yeah.
your chest, like, oh fuck, dude, the night is just starting. I have nothing but free time for the next 10 hours, and I'm gonna play the fuck out of this video game. I miss that feeling.
The last time I had that, it's few and far between now, but I did have that with Zelda. With that last Zelda, when I had like a day off or
Was that
something.
Breath of the Wild?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I turned that on, it was like, oh, I have nothing else to do today, and I was excited. And then before that, I had it with the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
And then before that, it had probably been like decades since I had.
And I think that's I said Final Fantasy VII best, just in a general,
Sure.
sense. But I think Resident Evil 1, and I flip-flop always between that and the remake of 1, but I'll go with Resident Evil 1, but Metal Gear Phantom Pain.
Those are your personal
Those are my
calls for
personal
greatest
two-
games ever?
Right now, two favorite video games.
I mean, I've never seen anyone play any game more than Garrett and the Phantom Pain. That was like
That's-
the
yeah.
clock on that game is broken.
Yeah.